Welcome to Law Logical, your weekly dose of the basics of law, where we bring the law of the land in an easy and understandable way for the common man, helping you leverage it effectively. Today, we unravel an essential topic, the inheritance rights of grandchildren in India. Inheritance laws safeguard the rightful succession of assets across generations, ensuring financial stability and justice within families. But where do grandchildren stand in this legal landscape? Do they have an automatic right to their grandparents' wealth? Or are there conditions that limit their claims? We explore this intricate subject, delving into the legal provisions that govern the inheritance rights of grandchildren in India. Historical perspective on inheritance laws in India. India's legal framework on inheritance has evolved significantly over time. In ancient traditions, inheritance was primarily dictated by caste, birth order, and gender biases. In many communities, the eldest son enjoyed superior rights, while daughters and other family members, including grandchildren, had limited or no claims. However, the enactment of the Hindu Succession Act in 1956 was a landmark moment. This legislation aimed to dismantle discriminatory customs and establish a more equitable system. It recognized various categories of heirs and provided a structured mechanism to determine inheritance rights, including those of grandchildren. The Hindu Succession Act, 1956, a foundation for grandchildren's rights. The Hindu Succession Act, 1956, remains the cornerstone of inheritance laws in India. This act classifies heirs and establishes clear guidelines for both intestate succession, when a person dies without a will, and testamentary succession, when a will is present. But what does this mean for grandchildren? Under this law, grandchildren are categorized as Class 1 heirs. This means that when a person dies intestate, their assets are distributed among their closest relatives, including their children and grandchildren. Thus, the law ensures that grandchildren have a rightful claim to their grandparents' assets alongside other immediate family members. However, the inheritance of property depends significantly on its classification, which brings us to a critical distinction: ancestral versus self-acquired property. Property under Hindu law is broadly classified into two types: ancestral property and self-acquired property. Understanding this distinction is crucial in determining whether grandchildren have an automatic right to inherit. Ancestral property is one that has been passed down across generations. In such cases, grandchildren have an automatic right to claim a share by birth itself. No explicit will or testament is required for grandchildren to inherit ancestral property, as their rights are inherent. Self-acquired property, on the other hand, is any property independently obtained by an individual through their own earnings or effort. In this scenario, grandchildren do not automatically inherit. Their claim to the property depends on whether their grandparent has bequeathed a share to them through a will. If no will exists, then the Hindu Succession Act determines the rightful heirs. Gender and inheritance rights, equal or not? Historically, Indian inheritance laws discriminated against women. Sons were often favored over daughters and female heirs, making it challenging for them to claim property rights. However, the Hindu Succession Amendment Act of 2005 corrected this bias, ensuring that male and female heirs have equal rights. This principle extends to grandchildren as well. Whether a grandchild is male or female, the law grants them an equal claim to their grandparents' assets. Gender no longer plays a role in determining one's inheritance rights, reinforcing a more just and fair legal framework. Inheritance rights of grandchildren in self-acquired property are quite distinct from those in ancestral property. Unlike ancestral property, self-acquired property presents a different legal challenge. Since the owner has full discretion over their assets, a grandchild's claim is not absolute. If a grandparent chooses to exclude their grandchild from inheritance through a valid will, the grandchild cannot challenge this decision under normal circumstances. However, if no will is present, the Hindu Succession Act intervenes to determine the legal heirs. Grandchildren may inherit, but only if they fall within the legal hierarchy established by the law. Now, let's talk about adoption and its impact on inheritance rights. The role of adoption in inheritance rights is an interesting legal aspect. Legally adopted grandchildren hold the same rights as biological grandchildren. Once adoption is finalized, the child is treated as a natural-born heir of their adoptive family, meaning they inherit from their adoptive grandparents just like any other biological grandchild. Testamentary rights and grandchildren's claims. A will, or testament, is an essential tool in estate planning. It allows a person to specify who will inherit their assets after their demise. Grandchildren's inheritance rights can be directly influenced by the presence or absence of a will. If a grandparent explicitly includes their grandchild as a beneficiary in their will, the inheritance is straightforward. However, if a will excludes the grandchild, their claim becomes legally uncertain. The courts respect the wishes of the deceased, and unless the will is legally challenged on grounds of fraud, coercion, or mental incapacity, it will be upheld. Common disputes and legal remedies. Inheritance matters often give rise to disputes among family members. Grandchildren may find themselves in conflict with other heirs over their rightful share of property. Some common legal challenges include exclusion from ancestral property. If grandchildren are denied their rightful share of ancestral property, they can file a suit for partition in court. Challenges to a will. If a grandchild believes a will was made under coercion or undue influence, they can contest its validity. Illegal transfers. If property is unlawfully transferred, grandchildren can seek an injunction to halt such actions. Legal recourse is available, but navigating inheritance disputes requires sound legal guidance and awareness of one's rights under the law. Conclusion: understanding and protecting grandchildren's rights. The inheritance rights of grandchildren in India are firmly rooted in the Hindu Succession Act, ensuring that they have a rightful claim to ancestral property and a potential claim to self-acquired property depending on legal circumstances. However, complexities arise due to various factors, including property classification, testamentary decisions, and potential disputes. Therefore, it is vital for individuals and families to be aware of their rights and take proactive steps, such as drafting clear wills and seeking legal advice, to ensure fair and conflict-free inheritance distribution. If you found this video informative, do like, share, and comment below with your queries or suggestions for future topics. Stay tuned to Law Logical for more insights into legal matters that impact your daily life. See you in the next video.